Hello, everyone. In today's video, I'm going to talk about Microsoft. Microsoft has been exploding in growth ever since Satya Nadella has taken reins and leadership over Microsoft. Now, I've owned Microsoft since I was 20 years old, and it's literally doesn't really done anything forever. But recently, since like 2014, 15, it's been skyrocketing. And if you're one of those people that bought in mid-March, man, you would have made a good profit because it's exploded over 50% since that time. Today's video, I'm going to cover Microsoft's revenue growth, where are the opportunities in Microsoft, covers a bit on the financials, it's on based on its latest earnings call, its transcripts, press releases. Basically, I've done a lot of research to save you a ton of time. And I'm going to share my thoughts on what the valuation is for Microsoft. And most importantly, if you're one of those people who already own Microsoft or looking to make a position and buy Microsoft, you've got to check out this video because I'm going to share my thoughts. Is it still a good time to buy right now? So hey everyone, if you want me to create more of these videos for you, please smash that like button. Hit it, smash it, do whatever you can, and let me know so that I know to create more of these videos for you. And guys, if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and that bell notification button so you get the latest and greatest videos coming to you. Plus, it's free. So let's get back with the video. So I did all the research for you. So I'm going to just give you the highlights of Microsoft on its financials and where the growth potential lies. So as you can see in Microsoft, we've got a beautiful three-stream revenue segment from Microsoft. One third of it is on productivity and business processes. One third of it is on intelligent cloud, and then one third of it is personal computing. And as you can see, its revenue has been growing in all three segments year after year after year. I want to highlight where it has its been biggest growth area. You can see that the personal computing actually has been growing really, really well. And then you can see that it's productivity and business processes, which probably what we're more familiar with, has actually been kind of just slowly growing year over year. Now, you look at the revenue and operating income, you can see that it has just been on a trend of going up every single year since 2017. This is why the stock price has also been growing very, very beautifully over the past few years because look at this, its fundamentals are supporting the stock price growth. So looking at its margins, Microsoft has an amazing profit margin. We could see in the last couple years, its profit margin has been consistently around 30%, plus or minus 1 or 2%. And it went up as much as almost 40%. That's crazy. And what's even more interesting, around $4 billion R&D money, which tells me that they're still an innovator. So good job, set. Yeah. So it sends me a lot of confidence in this company because the amount of money that they're spending on R&D. Now, we don't really know what they're spending the R&D money, but I suspect there's a lot on artificial intelligence because they're trying to make Azure the essential computer for the world. If you look at the operating cash flow, again, it's just going up, up, and up every single year. Its free cash flow is like, wow, look at that. This is like a cash-rich company. Again, it really can do whatever it wants. Basically, bulletproof revenue here.
So Tracy, that's all great. Thanks for sharing all these financials. But what does it mean in terms of revenue potential? What is it? What is Microsoft's growth story?
So let's look into Microsoft's biggest growth areas. I just shared the financials and I just give you a bit of insight on where are the two areas for growth. One is personal computing and second is its cloud infrastructure, what they call the cloud intelligence. Now let's look at first personal computing. Now when most people see personal computing, they're probably thinking like computers, Microsoft Surface Pro. No, I mean, yes, I mean, sure, like the Surface Pro is probably what most people think of when it comes to personal computing. But actually within that, the biggest growth area is actually the gaming system, Xbox, okay? And Xbox has actually been exploding in growth year over year. Like I think it's like over 65% just for this year because of the situation that we're in. And Microsoft is completely taking upon this opportunity. It's actually releasing Xbox gaming subscription, and they want to become the Netflix for games. And another area that I think that is not also talked about is Minecraft. I mean, all kids play it. My kids love it. Microsoft owns a company that makes Minecraft. So essentially, that's like just basically Microsoft owns like one of the most popular games in the world for kids. Now, the second thing, which is more commonly talked about, which is Azure, which is the cloud infrastructure for businesses. That's what Microsoft wants to become, essentially the world's computer for everyone. They're trying to get more and more businesses to migrate their data on Azure. And then not only is it becoming a data storage area, but then they provide security, they provide monitoring, and then tremendous amount of data, which is called big data. Then you can provide business intelligence to make sense of this data. What does it really mean for the businesses? And then you can use this machine learning and for artificial intelligence to, because it has the computational power to make sense of this data so that the businesses can improve their business model. There's an example where a restaurant actually used Azure to actually gain insight on its customers, and then that way is able to actually improve on its menu, make more money, which is like amazing. So essentially, Microsoft wants to become the go-to cloud infrastructure for all businesses. 95% of the Fortune 500 companies are using Microsoft for all their mission critical applications, and this is huge. Now, the leading provider right now is Amazon, but the difference between Microsoft and Amazon is that Amazon's like public cloud, and then Microsoft can provide private cloud. And what I mean by private cloud is that certain businesses, I would say the public sector, has some really, really strict requirements on their data. They need certain classification. It needs to be highly secure. It needs continuous monitoring. So there's some really, really strict requirements with its data for the public sector, like the government. So, and Microsoft is the has been able to provide that service to the government. So it just shows that, and another thing is Microsoft is actually growing a lot faster than Amazon in the cloud intelligence and cloud infrastructure world.
So Tracy, so what? You shared all the revenue growth and fundamentals, but what does it mean for its stock price?
So let's hit that right now. Now, I'm going to run my own model where I looked at the historical profit margin and ran the calculations. I'm not going to share all the numbers. It's going to be like pretty boring. But really, I'm just going to give you the highlights. So I see with Microsoft having consistent profit margin around 13 to 14%, and assuming that they grow like that for the next 3 years at only 13 to 14%, then I expect a fair value around $178, which is a little bit lower than what the stock price is right now. Now, the analysts are a lot more optimistic about Microsoft. And I have to say, actually, I agree with the analysts given its two amazing revenue growth potentials and the fact that Microsoft has this bulletproof revenue model. It's like a no-brainer. But I mean, in the short term, the analysts are predicting that it's between $180 to $260. Now, if you're targeting around $260, you're expecting a profit growth rate of 25% for this year, which is very, very bullish. I would say that I'm more on the conservative side. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. This is just saying, like, is the stock price really reflective of a good valuation? Yeah, more or less, pretty much it is at around $200. I say $175, like last few weeks was a better price, but whatever. If you are holding for the long term, it really, really doesn't matter because you can see with its financials that, and with its growth story, with its growth revenue potential, that Microsoft is literally has the most predictable revenue sources amongst all tech companies, has its fingerprints on everything when it comes to your computer, when it comes to your data, you're storing it on the cloud, and then what the office products that it provides to businesses, and even comes down to like being able to chat with your coworkers. A lot of people like using Microsoft Teams over Zoom because of security reasons. So it just shows like Microsoft is just essentially everywhere. So in terms of long-term growth potential, I would say like 13 to 14% is actually very, very conservative. I would say like over the upcoming years, especially with the amount of money that they're spending on artificial intelligence. I mean, this is what I'm suspecting. Like, I don't know where this R&D money is going to, but with that, I think like there's just going to be more and more different types of services that Microsoft is going to provide for not only businesses but the regular consumer. So all I'm getting at is if you're a long-term investor from 3 to 5 years, looking at its earnings growth rate from the analysts, you're just seeing that Microsoft is going to grow beautifully. Although its price per earnings at 35, which is really, really expensive, but you can't use price per earnings when you have a growth stock that's growing this fast. So I think that what its price per earnings is really telling you is that people are willing to pay top dollar for the stock because it's been around for a long time and it's growing at a really, really good rate. And just as full disclosure, I own shares in Microsoft and I'm very bullish on the company. And hey, guys, what do you think about Microsoft? What do you think? Is it like, no way, this company is like too old. I'm going to go buy a better stock. Well, let me know in the comments below. Do you own a position? Let me know. And how long are you planning to hold for? Like, personally, I'm planning to basically never sell it. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video.